Welcome back to week 3 of Catching Up with Coach, and we're changing it up this week. Assistant Coach Jason Binkley is with us, and Coach, welcome to the table.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the hot seat is on, and we're going to ask him some in-depth questions about the Greensboro Gargoyles here, but first let's get a little bit of a background of you, because I don't think we've let the fans know your deep history in the sport. You're from Ferris State University, a long, successful career as a player, and now as a coach. You were the youngest coach in the ECHL to make the playoffs last year, and now here with the Greensboro Gargoyles. So I guess let's go all the way back to your playing career. And tell us about playing at Ferris State and making it to the Frozen Four.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to come into a program and a league at the time, which was the old CCHA. So we played Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, all those big ranked teams, right, that are now involved in the Big Ten. It's Christmas time. We were like 11-6-1, maybe, like vaguely remember that. And then we went on a 15-game unbeaten streak the whole second half of the year, and got to number 1 in the country, carried that momentum into the NCAA tournament, made it all the way to the national championship, and ended up losing to Boston College. And that team was pretty good. They had the likes of Johnny Goudreau, Kevin Hayes, Chris Kreider, Brian Dumoulin, Tommy Cross. Like, there were some good players on that team. So it was an awesome experience. Glad I got to be a part of it. And my journey for Ferris set me up for pro hockey. Played 6 years of pro. Got a small cup of coffee in the American League with Cleveland. Tried to go overseas. COVID shut that down, but primarily played in the ECHL.
We also met your wife at Ferris State. She's here with you in Greensboro. This past weekend was a pretty exciting one. Your kid Wyatt getting to enjoy a few snow days, and you got to spend it at home. Tell us a little bit about Wyatt, and as he's grown up here, what that's taught you from a coaching standpoint.
Well, Wyatt's he loves the hockey. He loves coming to the rink with Dad. He loves coming to the games. Took advantage of some days around Christmas that we had to get him on the ice and get him skating for the first time. He's a good athlete, right? Mom was an athlete. I was an athlete. So he's good in that aspect. But he was involved in snow last year in Pennsylvania. He just doesn't remember it. But we were able to build some snowmen. We played around with the dog in the yard. We went on some walks. So he enjoyed it. We even brought the snow inside for him because it was too cold out. So he got to build snowmen in the house. So that was, I'm sure, as you can imagine, exciting and fun. And whatever, you throw him on a towel, let him have some fun, and away we go.
Oh, while we're talking about exciting and fun, Gargoyles hockey was exciting and fun over the past weekend. An affiliation weekend kicked off on a high note, a 5-2 victory for your team, and a big bounce back after a tough road trip and 3 weeks on the road. Tell me about the emotions behind that win. The captain kind of sparks things off with back-to-back goals, and your special teams really got going with a shorthanded goal from Zach Fairmouth, someone who you recruited in, as well as Greg Smith against his former team, getting the assist on the shorthanded goal and then a power play goal.
Well, a big thing for us that we've been struggling with is our consistency. And whether we've been home, whether we've been on the road, right, we're just trying to find the right recipe, the right group, the right standard, the right systems that we can all fall under and get that strong, consistent performance. To start the way we did Friday with a power play goal off a set face-off play was really nice. I haven't looked, but I've considered looking. I feel like every time we've probably won a game this year, we've probably had at least one power play goal, which has definitely helped us out. Shorthanded, we've been extremely well all year. The guys do a really good job at that. To take advantage and get some opportunities shorthanded and to be able to score really helps. And the big thing with special teams is all momentum. When you're on the power play, you don't want to lose momentum. And when you're on the penalty kill, you want to gain momentum. And we did both of those things. We scored on the power play to help us grow momentum. We scored shorthanded, helped us grow that momentum. And then we just fed off of that, which really helped. And I have to say, I loved the jerseys. I thought the jerseys were awesome. They looked really nice. But it's just nice to be home and be in your own bed, cook your own meals, and be in your own locker room. That really helps.
Another thing that's been huge to sparking momentum is scoring first. The team right now undefeated in the new year when they've gotten that first goal. On Saturday, a little bit of a different story where Adirondack scores first, and they were able to use special teams with 5 straight power plays to kind of build that advantage. And I know there was some disappointment with a couple of the calls that maybe went against the team, but how is that something that you can transition and find some more comebacks here if the team falls behind, but also emphasize how important those first goals have been for the team?
Well, a lot of it just stems from preparedness and confidence. And when we're prepared and we're ready to go as a group and we get that first goal, you can see it helps us. And when we build that momentum and we get that early power play and we get that goal, it makes all the difference. And too many times this year, we've been down 1 or 2 goals 5, 10 minutes into the first period, and then you just have to spend the rest of the game just trying to claw back and fight your way back. And because of that, we start cheating. We start cheating the systems. We start cheating the game because we're trying to get ourselves back into it. And that's something that we have to continue to emphasize with them, is that we just need to continue to play the right way. And something I would tell my team last year is, guys, it doesn't matter if it takes 59 minutes to get the lead. You just have to stay with it. And we've had some games this year where it's taken us a while to build up and to get those leads and keep them, but too many times we've been behind. So our group has to come prepared. They have to come ready. And if we do that, we give ourselves the best chance.
Tian Rask is a player that you're hoping is going to build some of that momentum and spark a little bit into the offense. We saw his first game as a Gargoyle in that Friday victory and certainly was noticeable on the effort side. He drew 2 penalties that both resulted in power play goals, as well as dropping the mitts in a fight. In the trade going out to get him, what did you guys see, to make that transaction and bring him here that you hope he brings to Greensboro and continues?
The big thing is his physicality, right? He's not afraid to lay the body. He's not afraid to drop the gloves. He is a guy that will be an agitator for us, for other teams to play against. And we needed something like that, right? We had Kenny Johnson there for a little bit. He obviously retired and took a coaching job that he had been waiting for. And when we had somebody like Kenny in the lineup, it gave our guys more confidence to play a little freer, to play a little looser, because they knew they had somebody back there who would step up and protect them. With Tian now, the element of his physicality, the hits that he threw over the weekend. I mean, by no means do we bring a guy in and say, "Hey, we expect you to fight and do all this." We do expect you to play your game and to play physical and finish your hits, which he did. And sometimes you have to answer the bell for that, which he was more than willing to do. But I guess I wasn't fully aware that we scored off both power plays that he drew. But that's big for us, and that's been a big part that we've been missing. And too many times this year we've been out hit in games by our opponents, so that's something we wanted to fix. And then once again, giving those guys the sense that somebody is out there to protect them, to play hard, to do it the right way, and to bring that physicality presence we've been missing since we lost Johnny.
This team is going to get very familiar with your former location. And we mentioned you were the youngest coach in the league to make it to the playoffs last year. You were the head coach of the Reading Royals. Now the postponement of Sunday's game has been an added game a week from Thursday that will also be against the Royals. So 12 times this season. For the second time you head to Reading. What do you expect of your team to try to turn the narrative here as we enter the second half of the season, exactly halfway right now, and going back to a tough barn to play in against a pretty strong team?
Well, it's not what they're doing, it's what we do. And when you look at the 3-game set that we just played there the other weekend, the first game we just didn't show up. The second game we had to give the guys a bit of a wake-up call through some yelling and some video, and then they played the way we wanted them to. And we get a 4-1 victory out of it, right? And then come Monday, once again, kind of a back and forth game, but just too sloppy on our end and just too late, right? You get down a couple goals and then you're trying to fight back. So they're a team that's played very well this year. They're a team that's been near the top of our division all year. Credit to them. They have some outstanding goaltending, which really helps. Some good affiliate help through Lehigh and Philadelphia. But really, I'm more worried about what we're going to do and how we're going to play. Because if we don't show up and we spot any team a 1 or 2 goal lead in the first period, it's just hard for us. So we have to come prepared. We have to come willing to do what we're asking them to do. The players have to do what we're asking them to do, and from there, we'll see where the cards lie. Because anybody can beat anybody in this league on any given day, right? We've beat Tahoe, we've beat Idaho, we've beat Reading and Wheeling and Adirondack, right? We've beat some of the top teams in the league and in our division. So we know we can do it. It's just getting that consistent effort of putting it together back to back to back nights for 60 minutes.
It'll be a long road stand or homestand rather after you return from the road, and kicking off next Tuesday with the Kids Day game, 10:30 a.m. start against Atlanta. As a young dad, how important can that day be for growing the game? A lot of kids will come for the first time and see the sport of hockey here in Greensboro, North Carolina, as we try to really establish this franchise.
Well, it's good that they're getting the opportunity to experience it, right? Because how long has it been since a team's been here? 20 plus years, right? So there's been a whole group of individuals in this city that grew up without hockey, right? Yes, there's teams in Charlotte and there's teams in Raleigh and all that, but to be able to travel, maybe 15, 20 minutes to come to a game that's probably more affordable than going to a NHL game, right? That's big. And if you can get a couple kids to maybe join learn to plays, or get a couple kids that become fans, and then their parents become involved, and then they become season ticket holders, and it leads to bigger things down the road. That's all you can hope for. But we hope to give them a good effort. We know that the kids day games are always loud. Sometimes I think we should be wearing earplugs out there, but they usually bring the noise. They enjoy the music, the songs. That's always different as well when they're playing Baby Shark instead of something else. But no, it's good to help always grow the game and to build the game. And I know we have guys that even go to the local rink here and help out with practices and stuff. So anything we can do as a group, as a team, organization to help give back, we're willing to do that. So these morning games are important for every team across the league.
Well, the Gargoyles finish out the month of January on the road, taking on the Reading Royals Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. For assistant coach Jason Binkley, I'm Casey Ditzel. Let's go Gargoyles.